Welcome back, WNST Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. We are live in Phoenix, Super Bowl 49 coverage. Unfolding, all brought to you by Charles Newsonoff & Sons, as well as our friends at Continental Title. Luke Jones with us, and we've had some Raven visits, as always, still getting through the middle of the week. And we welcome in the returning tight end of the Baltimore Ravens, big catch, Crockett Gillmore. What's going on, Croc? You all right, man?
Yeah, just hanging out. Happy to be here. See the Super Bowl, getting ready for a big game on Sunday.
Y'all talked out yet, man? You've been here like all day, right?
Yeah, I have been, but no, I'm good.
Well, you said it when I was bringing you over. I asked if you'd ever seen anything like this, and you said, "No, it's pretty crazy." But a year ago at this time,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like Joe
That's our Flacco.
It's pretty crazy.
It's not bad. That just needs to be a thing we do now. Anytime we talk to any of Joe's teammates, we just
have
ask
you not been in the locker room?
I've heard it many times.
Everybody walks to Joe, and everybody starts.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
I don't know. It's crazy.
But a year ago at this time, you were just finishing up at the Senior Bowl. You're in the midst of draft mania. Has to feel good a year later knowing you have a year under your belt, the NFL, with a successful organization, went to the playoffs as a rookie, and now you're a football player. You're not trying to be a football player at the next level. You're an NFL tight end.
Yeah, I don't have to put underwear on and run around in front of a bunch of guys, and that's awesome. And I get hit people like, There's no better feeling that, oh, you got to go to work. Well, you're going to take some steam off, and even when you're not doing anything, it's still football. It's not, I got to impress this person. You're playing football. You're an NFL player.
First Super Bowl? I mean, coming in and seeing
Absolutely,
all this?
Yeah. This will actually be my first game. So
you're going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who are you taking?
My buddy Ben, we lived together in college. I flew him out. He'll be here tomorrow. So
okay, this is your sort of I'm in the NFL. I got access to tickets.
Yeah, we're gonna party.
Let's go.
We're here to party.
Well, why would you be, man? Why would I think that's
Well, Gronk's playing in the game, so you have to hold up the reputation of the tight end.
For tight ends.
Have a little bit of fun, right?
I won't be that ridiculous. But.
Sure. We're not trying to get you in trouble here or anything.
No, I mean I'm just. I know the limit.
When you evaluate your first year on a personal level, obviously we all wanted you to be here. I didn't want to be talking about deflated footballs and Bill Belichick. I mean, we're Raven fans here. Some thoughts for you on self-evaluation, self-grading.
I felt pretty good about the season. I know there's a lot to work on. That's all we do what we do, and nobody's perfect. We're looking forward to a big season next year, but I feel really good about the season I'm coming off of. I did what I wanted to do as far as get on the field and really making an impact in the passing and running game and special teams, and I want to continue to build on all three aspects. Learning
curve tough? I mean, were there times where you were like, damn, this is kind of confusing, or this is a little different than what I had in college?
Very similar system, and the biggest difference was actually in my own body. You start eating right, you start gaining weight. You don't know really how big you're going to get. I think I put on like 20 pounds in the season.
So you learned more about nutrition and eating, or?
You have access to that. In college, you didn't. I mean, you ate like crap and McDonald's and whatever else you could find.
But I mean, your body's your temple at this point. I mean, I remember Shannon Sharp and like guys that made this happen for a long time, especially given you're in a rugged position. You got to be fast and strong.
So you don't really know. I mean, I feel like I got faster, I got stronger, I got bigger. So I mean, I'm still young. I don't know how big and strong and fast we can get. So I'm just going to continue to build and get better.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, you were quite judicious with catching touchdowns this year. Both came against Pittsburgh. I don't know about Nestor, but Crockett Gillmore, when you do that, you're going to become very popular in Baltimore very quickly.
Yeah, I like that. I like spiking in the stands. I like scoring on Pittsburgh. I like beating Pittsburgh.
You're in. You're one of us.
Yeah.
You're a Raven. Yeah. You're just like that.
As soon as they say, let's play like a Raven, I was like, what's that mean? I found out, and I was like, yep, sounds like I'm going to be here a while. So I like that, and I want to be a Raven for a long time.
Now, looking back at your rookie year, clearly you guys had the unfortunate injury with Pitta early on, and not saying that you take any satisfaction in that, but it did create an opportunity for you to perhaps get in there a little bit more. There's so much talk about Pitta and Owen Daniels being the two tight end sets.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe for you looking back, again, wishing Dennis well, hoping he's coming back and all of that, but maybe now gives you a little more confidence going into year two, especially late in the year. I mean, you started to become a fairly regular part of the offense, even as a pass catcher, not just a blocker.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've always said, I'm always going to be a run-first guy, but that's a championship caliber football is run first, defense, and that's the way it's always been. You can go look at as many spreads as you want. Seattle played defense last year, and they won the Super Bowl. The Ravens played defense 2 years ago. They won the Super Bowl. If you can run the ball and play defense, you're going to win, and there's nothing else you can say about it. And so obviously I want to become a more well-rounded tight end, but I understand where the game is, and it's not going to all of a sudden change. Having
talked to so many wide receivers and guys that have caught balls from Joe Flacco over the last 7 years and tight ends, maybe coming from a different kind of college or different kinds of quarterbacks, I think there's a huge difference from the way Joe Flacco throws the football and the way most college quarterbacks throw.
Yeah.
Were there times where you were like, I can't believe he could do that? I mean, I think some of the guys on the team thought that about Steve Smith when he showed up. Like, I can't believe he could do that. You know what I mean?
For me, it was more watching Joe. Obviously, the short game's very similar, and, yeah, he's going to put it in tight windows. But for me, when you see Torrey take off and he's 40 yards and he still hasn't let it go, but there's only been, he already took a 3-step drop. You're like, all right, he's going to throw the check down. And then he kind of moves.
Off the back foot.
Yeah, and then he moves off to the right a little bit, and then just like, that's 70, keeps going, 70, and you're like, wow. And it's, it's nothing. It's just
he flicks it.
Yeah, and then does what Joe does is nothing, and
I don't know. I just throw it.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
Well, what can you tell us about your new tight ends coach, Richard Angelo, who was with the team? Not a guy that Ravens fans are probably familiar with, but can you give us a little scouting report on your new tight ends coach?
I'm very excited to work with him. He helped me out a lot last year. He'd come in and we'd work on some little things, but he's done a really good job throughout my process, and he's a player. He's been around the league, so he has that insight. So I'm very excited to work with him, and really, it's pretty much a fresh start for us. Like I said, he was around, but not. He had other duties. Now that he can just focus on this, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
I did an interview over here with NFL Now, their social media thing, and I was on the set, and they were asking me, I was the Ravens insider, and they're asking me questions about Flacco and Kubiak and learning, Tressman and all that stuff. And I said, knowing Joe, I think Joe would take a different offensive coordinator, quarterback coach almost every year, as long as it was some genius like him. You learn things along the way. You knew coming into this you weren't going to have the same tight ends. I mean, Wade Harmon was there forever, forever and ever and ever. Now there's, been a little bit of movement. Kubiak, Periani, Dennison. I think a lot of you like a new voice, a different way of doing things, to teach you a different nuance, and I think that's part of the whole learning curve. All the coaches, they never call themselves coaches, they call themselves teachers.
Yeah, I went through college and had 4 tight end coaches in 4 years, so.
And every one of them probably, you like one more than the other, but you learn stuff from all of them,
One
right?
was a linebackers coach that came over, one was a defensive line, one was a running backs from the league, and they were all great.
Different way of looking things?
Absolutely.
That's how you learn, right? Well, if you only have one person in your ear forever, even the best golfers change coaches just because they just want
you're always a teacher, but you're also always a student. Even they were learning things from me, and the past coaches had coached me, and I'd tell them, and we work. That's how you work together, and that's so. Yeah, I'm excited, very excited.
Interesting offseason for your new offensive coordinator, Mark Tressman. We just talked about your new tight ends coach. Owen Daniel's a free agent. I know he said that he'd like to be back, but it's a business. It's something that you'll find out. And Dennis Pitta working his way back from the injury, but still, still some uncertainty there just because of what he's been through physically. So, interesting feeling for you, being higher on the totem pole, a year under your belt, and knowing, you could be planning, preparing for an even bigger role next year.
I came to the season with that in mind last year, wanting to be the guy. But you just don't know. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know. A similar situation in Kubiak. Yeah, he wants to be there, but if the right team calling right, and the dollar amount's right, then that's the way of the league. And happy to see Coach Koob and their staff go, and they're going to do some good things down there in Denver. And I'm always around Denver, so I'm sure I'll be seeing them. But we might have to take care of them in the playoffs a couple of times.
I get this hilarious. Turn around. Come home, Rams. Rams love LA. Who is that? I don't even know what the Oh, Jesus, Sam Kroenke. Now I know what he looks like. All right.
Well, the Rams love Fort Collins too.
Well, speaking of branding, like that was very interesting branding there. I follow you on Twitter already. Crockett G7?
Correct,
is it?
yes.
You have a website. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's just basically kind of the whole process from last year to now and what we've done. And there's pictures on there. There's a little bit of story of where I'm from. And if you really want to know, from Bushland, Texas, a little small town. And really, if you just want to keep up and know a little more than just the football guy.
But we'll get you out a little bit more next year. You do stuff, man. I'm always
that's y'all's branding. I got to do my own branding.
Yeah.
There'll be life after football. And
well, what are you going to do when you're done? You've thought about that? What was your major and all that?
Actually, I'm going to go back to school. I want to do some work in psychology, and I'd like to work with maybe college-level players and really psychology type. Not as much football. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be that passion for football, but more of like the knowledge of the game. And
well, that's after a 15-year career, right? At least.
If we win a couple Super Bowls, I might call it a day. So
I know this is your first time at the Super Bowl, and game's still a few days away, but being in this atmosphere, seeing the hoopla, I mean, you've watched the hype on TV for years, knowing the Ravens did it 2 years ago. Being here, make it a little hungrier to be here as a player?
I think on Sunday that'll be the time that I understand, and the rings get me. If I see a ring, that's it.
We see a lot of them around here Super Bowl week, man.
So, it's a feeling you can't make up. You can talk about it till you're sick, you're blue in the face. It's something you have inside when you see one. You just have to have it. And it's not something you want to buy. It's something you want to earn. And only a few guys get the opportunity to do that.
Any of the guys flash them on you? I mean,
no. And I want to see this,
You haven't seen the Ravens
ring?
ring?
Keep talking or something.
Really?
Nothing.
Really?
I've seen it in the case, went to the Hall of Fame and stuff, but no. Nobody flashed one all year.
Tucker was around here earlier, but I don't think he was wearing it.
He wasn't wearing it.
Well, it's as big as his head. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's just big.
If anybody would be wearing one, it'd be Tucker. But no.
Well, Tuck's having fun here. You're having fun. Hey, it was really good to visit with you, man. Thanks for coming over, man. Your folks have stopped by and said, hey, Crockett's here. I'm like, get him over here, man. He's got purple going on. It's kind of cool you're going to the game. I hope you have a good time. If you're a man of faith, if you're a man of belief, you're rooting for the Seahawks this week, right?
Yeah.
No, good. Okay, that's all I need to know.
Fair enough.
That's all. Let's make sure, man. Make sure you're on the right side of the fence here.
Yeah, that's what I picked.
Coulda, should we just? We're so close. We were so close.
One play.
Well, that's why it's your first year. Give you a little taste, right? You get a little hungry.
I don't know about that taste. I'll spit it out and get a new taste.
All right, well, go to the game on
Good
Sunday.
answer.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Elbows up. Crockett Gillmore here for the Baltimore Ravens, our tight end, and he will be returning to duty soon for mini camps and OTAs and weightlifting and bad weather and probably all the other stuff that goes along with it. Luke's riding shotgun here. It's all brought to you by Charles Newsonoff & Sons and Continental Title. Don't forget Valentine's Day with Sydney and our friends over at Charles Newsonoff. CharlesNewsonoff.com, the way to make that happen. We are going to step out. You can find Luke at WNST.net. I am Nasty at WNST.net. We're on Radio Row at Super Bowl 49. We'll be here through the weekend getting it done. You can find us in the Buy a Toyota audio vault at WNST.net. Subscribe to the morning newspaper. Hit the text service. Do all the cool stuff that we do here. We are WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.